Hey, what's going on? I'm back today with another metal album review. Today I'm covering Samael, Above. I'm actually quite surprised that no one's even really talked about this album on YouTube. It's sort of a notable release, at least in my opinion, and a very enjoyable one as well. And it's fairly recent, having come out last year. So I'm going to talk about this today, and here we go. If you're not familiar with Samael whatsoever, they started off more or less as a black metal inspired band, and over time they sort of shifted away from that style and went into more electronic and experimental music. This is sort of a recap of their older style. It does have a lot of black metal influence in here, also thrash and death metal influences. Very heavy album, quite different from their other more modern work, and I kind of like that. As far as I know, this is sort of a one-off in terms of their current plans. Like, they're not planning to continue on with this particular style, but will be continuing on with their more electronic vibe, which is unfortunate because I really like this. And I'll tell you exactly why right now. This is one of those albums that when you first listen to it, you probably won't even like it. You probably put it back on the shelf and forget about it for a while. And that was definitely the case for me. Listening to this for the first time, I was just like, what was that I just listened to? I don't know what this is. I couldn't recognize one thing from the next, one song from the next, one guitar part, one instrument from the other. It all kind of blended together a lot, and the songs blended together a lot. And at first I was actually quite disappointed with this album, but this is definitely one of those albums that gets better each and every time you listen to it. The reason that happens is because this album has very aggressive drumming, like pretty much non-stop, kind of balls to the wall, very abrasive drumming in here. The bass playing is similar, and a lot of the guitar work sort of has that same attitude. And so what happens when you first listen to this, you hear a big wall of sound hitting you, hitting your ears, and it's very hard to decompose, to analyze, to think about the things you even like about it, because it sort of smashes you in the face and then you're done listening to the album. And mind you, it's quite a short album as well. 10 main tracks on here with the 11th bonus track, and those songs are typically around about 4 minutes long each, so I mean, it's not really a long album. So smash in the face, the album's over. But what actually happens is that each and every time you listen to it, you pick up on a new thing. You notice some more of the lead guitar work that is important in this album, but maybe not as obvious as, say, the drumming. And you'll hear some of the vocals. You make out a little bit of the vocals. And this is definitely a complex album. I mean, it's not something you can sit down to and listen to first, second, or even third time and be like, okay, I understand the ideas that are going into this album, or I can really think about the sound that's here. It's going to take you 5, 6, 7 listens to even scratch the surface here. And that's one of the highlights of this particular album. Ironically, something I didn't like at first, for obvious reasons. Now, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite tracks on here, which will help highlight the different influences thrown into the sound, which may or may not be completely obvious to you after several listens. The first track I really liked off here was Illumination, and it's because they have a very flowing vibe to their music, and it's very amazing that they could do that considering how heavy, how aggressive, and how in your face this music really is. So what happens is when you're listening to it, you'll hear the thrash kind of drumming, but you'll hear sort of a more melodic flow going through on top of that. It's very layered, and it works very well. The synth definitely helps on that, and is more obvious on some tracks, such as Black Hole. You can hear that sort of atmosphere in there on the top of it all. Great atmospheric songs. And I was quite happy with the way they structured the layout of the songs on here. Like, the first 3 songs roughly are in your face, kind of thrash inspired, death metal inspired, very abrasive, very brash, kind of straightforward songs. But Earth Country kind of steps away from that. It brings you into more melodic atmosphere. It's more flowing. It's very simplistic even in what it does. It has a very self-similar vibe to it, but it flows very well and it builds on itself, which works very well in here. And it does sort of offset other tracks on here, such as God's Snake, which is more complex, more heavy, more mashed together, but in a very well-done way. So I really like that. This is an album that is aggressive, and it's heavy, and it's melodic at the same time. And it's something that you'll enjoy more and more as you get more and more into it. So overall, I'd have to say that Samael's Above is one of my musical highlights of 2009. An album that I'm surprised nobody has covered on here. An album that I'm surprised people aren't talking more about. And it's definitely memorable. It's for the history books, and that's all I really have to say about it. Check out Samael. If you like Ceremony of Opposites especially, you'll love this album. If you like aggressive music, this is for you. And if you want something that defies the standards of black metal, or metal in general, and has a lot of creativity thrown in there, this is a great album to listen to. And even now, after 10, 12, 15 listens, I still find things each and every time that sound a little different than they did last time, that I notice a little bit more. And for a band to do that, it's quite an amazing thing. So for that particular reason, this is definitely one of the highlights of my musical purchases in the last couple of years. Thanks for watching this, and see you later.